Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack on Productions. Today I, Bancroft, will be going over my Set 12 Yellow Frieza deck profile. And before we get into the actual profile, keep in mind there's always buttons on the screen. If you feel like you want to click them, please do. But that's all I'm going to ask for. Alright, so Frieza is a very interesting deck in the instance that you do not get your life added to your hand. So, on both sides of the Frieza card, if all your life is face up, you lose the game. And when you take damage, you flip your life face up, equal to the amount of damage you've taken. So single strikes are 1, double strikes are 2, and so on in your normal ways of combat. Now, the second permanent is that cards in your life can only be flipped face up by skills on mono yellow cards. You cannot add face up cards in your life to your hand. So once you take the damage, those cards are practically either going to be really important or almost useless for you. But it's okay because we have ways to using those useless cards for other effects. Now, Auto. When you play this card in your lead area, you activate one Cutting Edge Recovery device. So you only need one in the deck because this field card also has Barrier, so you're never going to lose it, which is pretty nice. Yeah. All right. Well, it's in the battle area, and I think the Unison will actually hit it, so you gotta be careful with that. But that's about it. All right. The Leader's Awakening does absolutely nothing. As long as you have 5 or less, if your life is 5 or less, choose one Cutting Edge Recovery device in your battle area, place it in the owner's drop area, flip this card over. That's it. So you want to try to use the Cutting Edge Recovery devices, activate main/battle. But before we get to there, Auto. This is what makes this card so good. When a card in your life is flipped face up, choose up to one of your opponent's cards and switch it to rest mode. I love doing it on turn 1 when your opponents forget to tap their energy and they swing with Leader first to get that draw. And then on turn 1 I go, okay, tap that energy for me, please. And they're like, oh, great. And so using this auto every turn really slows your opponent down. And that's actually did surprisingly well. And I actually enjoyed this deck a lot more than I thought I would because of that. Now, it does have an activate main. If all your energy is mono yellow, choose one card in your life. Does not matter if it's face up or not. And one Frieza Army card in your battle area. Place them in the owner's drop area. Draw 2 cards. Then choose up to one mono yellow Frieza Army card or mono yellow Unison card from your hand, putting your life face up. Now we'll get into those later because there's a lot of cards that can be played from moving from life to drop area as long as they're face up. And the activate main such battles, you have 3 or more face up cards. You may put this card in the drop area. If you do, flip your leader over, and then you can add an additional card from your deck, top card of your deck obviously, into your life face up, which gives you an extra resource to use other effects with. So, now that you've awakened, Frieza maintains the 2 permanents. All life face up, you lose, and you can't cards can't be flipped face up except for by mono yellow cards, and you can't add face up cards to your hand. But activate battle once returned, so it could be during your opponent's turn or your turn. Place one card from your life into your drop area. Choose one card, and then this card gets 5,000 power and double strike. So it's really great when you're trying to go for end game. Your opponent has 2 life, and they sometimes forget about this activate battle. Or you can use it as a way of defending yourself. If your opponent says, I'll leave it at 15k. Cool. I'll activate battle, pitch a card in my life that's practically useless, and then draw a card in my hand. So I'm not losing any resources, and the card you're pitching is already face up. So your life has already been hit by that one. So, because this is a Frieza's Army deck, we had to go with For the Frieza's Call. It's a great way of playing a 2-drop from your deck to the field. Granted, it is played in rest mode, but that's fine. Because in your following turns, you use a Cutting Edge Recovery to pitch those cards to draw more cards. One option, Tagoma. When it plays, it draws a card. That's obviously always a good one to go for. If your opponent wants to kill it, that's fine, because it has an activate battle, where if your leader card's yellow Frieza Army card and you have 2 more energy, place this card from your drop area to your warp, take one of your face-up life cards, put it into your drop. You may choose one mono yellow Frieza Army card or mono yellow Unison from your hand, place it in your life face up. If you do, draw 1 card. So it helps you cycle cards from your life into your drop and cards from your hand into your life to better your plays later on the road. And speaking of better plays, if you have a useless card in your life, you can always play Ginyu One Last Body Change. If your leader card's yellow Frieza Army card, when you play this card, place one face-up card in your life to your drop area, draw 2 cards. Simple as that. Auto, when one of your opponent's cards is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, this card gains blocker. So, if your opponent swings at your leader, Flip a life face up, you tap a card. This card now has blocker for their next attack. Sorbet. When it's played, you search the top 5 cards of your deck. And you may add a 1 Frieza's Army card, or with an energy cost 3 or less, or a Unison with specific energy cost of 2 to your hand, which is pretty nice. The Activate main is actually what makes this card so good. So, if your leader card is mono yellow Frieza and you have Cutting Edge, you have the field card out in the battle area. Tap for 1 yellow energy. You may play this card from your drop area with its skills negated for a turn. Now, granted, you're like, but why would you do that? You activate main on the field card to draw 2 cards. Simple as that. 2 Friezas on the onslaught begins. It's a blocker. When it's played, it KOs the opponent's battle card of energy cost of 4 or less as long as it's in rest mode, which is pretty sweet in my opinion. I only play 2 of them because it can be. I use Frieza's Call to play it. Oh, great. That auto has to be during your turn only though. But it's a card that can be, if it's in your life and it gets placed in the drop area for 1 yellow energy, it plays itself. I have another 2-drop blocker I went with, and that was the Military Command Frieza. What makes this one so great is that when this card is KO, you choose up to 1 Frieza's card in your choose up to 1 Frieza's army. Oh my gosh! Choose up to 1 Frieza card with energy cost of 3 from your hand and play it. So you can play this one turn 1 using Frieza's Call. If your opponent swings into it early, cool. You play a 3-drop. If you choose to hang on to it and block it when you have a 3-drop in your hand, go from there. Now, in my current build, there's only 1 3-drop I play, which can also be played from the life when it gets placed in the drop, and that's Train That Lasts. Double Strike 19k, 1 yellow energy, plays it when it's removed from your life to your drop, face up. But the auto, leader has to be Frieza's Army, yellow, and you place 1 face-up card from your life to your drop area. When your opponent plays a battle card, you may choose that card, switch it to rest mode. If you do, draw 1 card, negate the skill for turn. So, there are other options you can play if you really wanted to. For example, Deadly Defender. It's a barrier card, and when this card's in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader. Now, granted, during your opponent's turn, it's 15k, but still, it could stop an attack. Frieza Back from Hell. Activate main, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. It can't be switched active mode until the start of your next main phase, or your next turn. This one does have a second activate main, but it's useless for you because it requires a yellow Shenron leader, which this leader is not. But there's just 2 other options that could work with this deck. Now, cards that you want in your life. The 1-drop negate to counter negate and then plays this card. And if your leader card is mono yellow Frieza, when this card is this card can be played from your life. That's it. Yeah, sorry. So you can use it from your hand or you can use it from your life. We also have the Ginyu Unison for 4 of, has Rejuvenate. The auto is when this card is in your, when all your energy is mono yellow, this card is face up in your life, is placed in the drop area, and you don't have a Unison, you play this on the board with 1 marker on it. It's +1. You may place 1 face up card from your life, put it underneath this card. If you do, choose 1 mono yellow battle card in your hand, place it in your life face up, then draw 1 card. So it just cycles more there. It just cycles more. Because we play a Unison, I went with only 2 with Vegeta Prideful Transformations. The deck can draw a lot, and it has enough blockers already in it, so I feel like 2 is enough. You could definitely put more in there. I can see why. All right, so the next bit of cards, the 5-drop Frieza Divine Transformation. Absolutely love this card. Deflect, Double Strike, blocker. And also, this card cannot be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills. Obviously, if they want to neg it out, they totally can. But outside that, it stays. Now, if your leader card is yellow, when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. KO them, then flip 1 of your face-up cards in your life face down. At the end of your turn, switch this card back to active mode. So, you play it, double strike, boom, in turn, restance. Now, if this card is on board, when your opponent activates a counter attack, choose 2 of their cards, switch them to rest mode. They cannot be switched back to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. I mean, can't get any better than that. You're already tapping plenty of cards. Why not keep more cards tapped? Now, this deck has a good amount of Friezas. Got the 5-drop, 2 drops, the 3-drop, got the 1-drops right here. All these cards, if I get to turn 6, which has never been a problem, can be evolved into the Resurrected Terror. I only play as a 1-of, it's just a nice little tech choice I had. Has triple strike. When this card evolves into this, when a card evolves into this card, place all rest mode battle cards except for this card in the drop area. Then choose all active mode battle cards except for this card and switch them to rest mode. You gotta be careful when playing this one. This is why I only play as a 1-of. Does not have deflect. Truth be told, most times I'd rather just play the 5-drop and just stick with that. But if I know my opponent's hand, or if I know their hands has been dwindled and they're maybe tapped out or don't have the Unison, playing this is not a bad choice. You just may tap out in doing it, so you gotta make sure when you do it, you're going for game. The rest of these cards are more just tech choices. I do my super combos as a split between the one from the set and Beerus. Reason why is because, in my experience, at least at our locals, when you have a Unison, people tend to target it a lot. So this Unison may be useless. But I try not to play my Unison unless I know I can get the super combo off. And then Beerus, as long as you have 5 cards in your drop, it can just sparking combo, which is pretty nice. 2 poutines. This really brought you up to 3 instead of 2. It's an amazing card. Barrier unique. If your leader card is yellow, when your opponent's card is switched to rest mode by one of your card skills, you may play this card from your hand. This could be free play on your opponent's turn 1 if you win first. And auto, once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode. Comes with a problem card. And when you switch cards to rest mode, we play the Son Goku Father Son blocker. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, and this card is not in play, when an opponent's battle card is switched to rest mode by a skill, you activate the skill and you can play this card from your hand. Play 2 of the Apes, which can also go up to 3, but you combo with it using 2 energy, it plays, it taps a card, and you draw a card. And it's a double strike 20k. And for more control on my opponent's side of the field, I chose to go with 2 Crusher Balls over 2 Giant Balls because this can get past a barrier where Crusher Ball says choose the card being played. So, keeping cards tapped. Nimbus keeps aggro down. Vegeta's Final Flash helps with tall cards. 1 Tyrannical Blow, which just, if I see it, great. If I don't, it's not the end of the world for me. But if your leader card is yellow, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less, it is played with the skills negated for turn. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or Unison cards and negate its skills return. So if your opponent has not used their Unison by the time they play a 30-drop card and you have this card in your hand, do it. It blanks out the Unison and they completely lose that Unison's ability from here on out. At least for that turn. And last but not least, because it is a yellow Frieza deck, 1 Cold Blow less. You just got to. It's like a secret rare pretty much. So, there are 2 more cards I want to show off real quick. Shin Shenron, Negative Energy Incarnate. I don't know why I forgot about this card. Currently my deck is sitting at 51 cards. I'm adding this card to the deck now to make it 52. But, I mean, it's a 1-drop practically because at least a third of my deck is just 1 energy cost cards, which are easy to get out, easy to put in my drop. So the permanent is reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each card in your drop area with an energy cost of 1. This card can't be removed from your battle area by opponent's skills. And from here on out, it's a 35k blocker that restands, but it gets -5 when you activate, -5k when you activate blocker. So you just go, boom, 1 attack, 2 attack. Stop. Just be careful. Don't want to lose this card. It's definitely a good card to keep on the board. The other card I want to go over, in the original build, I played 2 or 3 of these for combos. I'm gonna look into the deck, see if I can find a way to put these in here. These are amazing. So if you go into your opponent's turn 2 with 2 energy, and they swing at your lead, all you gotta do is take the damage, tap a card, pay the 2 energy, play this card. So when one of your opponent's cards is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, play this card from your hand. If your leader card is yellow when you're playing this card, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and/or energies, ignoring barrier and switching to rest mode. It gets shut down your opponent's turn 2, even turn 3, and just keep you where you want to be for the long game, which is what I feel like this deck likes to do. Now, I'm still experimenting with different builds and different takes on it. So I would love for anyone to put comments down below what you use as a difference than I do. Or even maybe if you have your deck profile and show on its layer, put it in the comments down below. Let me have a look at it. With that being said, that is my current take on set 12 Frieza. I hope you all enjoyed. And with that being said, like always, read your cards, know your plays, fluff out.